Hi, my name is Nikita Thompson. I am the executive assistant to Jonathan Cunningham, who is owner and guru millworker for Zoanna Millwork. I just recently joined the team, but I am super excited and I feel as though I've been here for forever. It's an amazing team and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Cunningham, owner of Zoanna Millwork here in Nassau, Bahamas. I've been in the millwork industry for 28 years, having a whole lot of fun. And today we're going to tell you a little bit about what we do.
Mr. Jonathan, I see some really nice material on this table. Let me start by telling you my favorite. I love this tile. That's awesome. And this hair,
Yeah.
the rustic look is amazing. So tell me about these supplies and what's exciting about them with what you do.
Well, what I find exciting about them is that they're all like small elements and kind of in a big picture,
Right.
right? So it all relates to design, which I love, and I also kind of love the challenges
Mhm.
in putting these things together. So these are actually all different projects,
Right.
um, and there's a lot of technology going into every one of these things. So those kind of challenges and how hard it is to find them, how hard it is to find the right products, new products, those things.
Right.
I like a lot of that kind of stuff.
So are these supplies from ongoing projects now or projects you have currently
Yeah,
working on?
yeah, these are all things that we're currently working
Okay.
on. So this is just a piece of mahogany. It's just a stain sample
That
for
looks
mahogany, but this is relates to some exterior doors. And one of the reasons that it's interesting is that there's a lot of technology that goes into the construction
right.
of exterior doors and being solid wood. So in sort of today's world, when you just go buy typical exterior doors and windows,
Mhm.
even if they're wood and even if they have a beautiful mahogany finish,
Mhm.
the interior core of that door is not made from mahogany.
Oh, wow.
And it doesn't really matter anywhere else in the world. It's actually a good thing. It
Mhm.
provides better engineering and more stability.
Okay.
If the interior core is pine,
Mhm.
which is most frequently used, but here in the Bahamas, it doesn't work because of the termites.
Right, I was just gonna
So
ask.
right. So if you just go and buy a beautiful, very expensive, brand name,
Mhm.
mahogany exterior door window,
Mhm.
it's highly likely that it's got an engineered core
Okay.
and termites love that. And so that doesn't work in the Bahamas. So
Ah.
we build, our exterior doors out of solid mahogany.
Oh,
We
wow.
still engineer the core with
Right.
many glue ups for strength and durability.
Right.
Um, but the entire thing is made out of mahogany, which the termites won't touch, and it's very stable. So, that's what that little piece was specifically for one job.
Fantastic. So termites don't like mahogany.
No, they don't. There's several woods,
Mhm.
only a few, but there's several woods, that termites don't touch.
So guys, we need to change our doors to mahogany doors. That's awesome. I wanted to ask you something though. So I know years ago again, we actually were distributors of the mahogany wood, but I think something happened that kind of died out. Tell us just briefly the importance of the natural resources and how you like working with them, if I may ask.
Well, it's kinda like a unique characteristic for
Hmm.
the Bahamas.
Right.
So, we're doing something right now that involves casuarina, making some wooden pavers to go
Hmm.
on the beach
Hmm.
out of casuarina. So that's kinda fun using local woods.
It's good.
Uh, it's a little bit challenging. Most of the things we do, are manufactured
Of
components, and
course.
we don't get the opportunity to use local woods
Hmm.
very much,
Hmm.
and they're in relatively limited supply.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of fun and it's unique to the Bahamas when we get the chance to do that.
Awesome. Awesome. Good stuff. So what else is here? I see this. This is the first time I'm
You
seeing
really
mother of
like
pearl. I love
the
this.
tile.
I
So
love the tile.
it is beautiful.
It is.
It,
It's mother of pearl, guys.
yeah,
It's beautiful.
it's gonna look great when it's installed. It's going on a reception desk.
Okay, cool.
But I mean, the fun part for me is that
Mhm.
we had to have it custom manufactured.
That's it.
So we're matching something that's existing,
Mhm.
which had no specifications, so we
Right.
weren't able to just buy more. So we had to go and get it made. Um, this specifically is the second attempt at having this made.
Wow.
On the other side of the world, we flew it in and tested it, and it's a great fit. It's a great match. So that's a fun little project. We do a lot of those things where, and in today's modern world, it's quite easy to go and buy stuff internationally, have it custom made in small quantities, and shipped on DHL to the Bahamas. So it's very realistic in
That's
today's world.
nice. That's cool. So you have different textures here. I'm feeling this fabric. So we talk about millwork. So on a millwork, but you actually work with
We
fabric.
do, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Often building, banquettes for restaurants, commercial applications, that kind of thing. So yeah, I would say we do almost every project has some kind of upholstery type work involved in it.
Sure.
These ones, again, this was a very specific material that we had to get. It's fire rated. That's very important in commercial projects and in hospitality. So that's just an example of some banquettes we built with fire rated, beautiful.
Yeah.
you know,
And it feels
material,
good
right?
too. The texture's nice. That's awesome.
It's heavy, isn't it?
It is. It's weighty.
Yeah, so that was a fun little
Dimensions
project.
are nice.
We actually got that made in Canada.
Oh,
Two of them
wow.
custom made. They're samples,
Okay.
made of solid bronze. They're cast out of solid bronze and hand finished with the intent of having a little bit of a rustic feel. And it was a fun little project. We ended up switching to brass, so they're now being made at brass, and now they're being mass manufactured, slightly different design for the purpose.
So what would you use, or where would you use something like that if you wanted to?
These are going right on the beach. So
Okay.
that's why they're being made out of solid brass,
Right.
and they're
Okay.
very heavy and strong. Right, they're going to last a
Okay.
very long time.
Okay.
They're rope stanchions, so a piece of
Okay.
rope goes in here and
Nice.
it hooks onto to a wooden post. So,
That's nice.
but it's on the beach.
Do you supply, for example, outside of these flagship projects?
Yeah.
Do you supply any materials? So, for example, if someone see this and they want something similar, or you said stanchions on a rope, so maybe they want to put something like that in the front of their yard. Do you supply any material?
Because everything we do is basically custom designed, custom made, and sent to the Bahamas and installed. It's generally in large quantities.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's why we do a lot of work with the
bigger.
hotels and the big projects, is because when you're doing custom things like this, it's
Yeah.
very expensive. We do
Deep.
one-off piece.
Volumes.
But
Okay.
when you've got volume involved, then it can make sense. So this, for example, we're making 500 of them.
Makes sense. It's beautiful, though. It's beautiful. So I see that you have
These strange things.
swatches. Yeah.
So
Swatch.
these swatches, they have a lot of texture to them.
Yes. I
They kind of,
noticed.
you're asking if they were wallpaper.
Yes, I did,
They
actually.
kind of feel like vinyl, and they all have different textures. But this is one of the fun things in sort of the design world, is we have so many options in today's world for choosing designs. These are going in an office building, and each one, we're doing 5 offices, and each office has its own unique color. So they're paneling that go behind a
Right.
chair in
The
an
new
office.
paneling.
Yeah.
That's
And
nice.
so it's a very modern design, and we're using these specific high performance materials that work really, really well. They're also fire rated, and they have a lot of texture and a lot of abrasion resistance. So unlike, staining and lacquering
Right.
something that could get scratched, these materials are designed to last a very long time
That's
and a lot of
incredible.
wear and tear.
That's incredible. So a typical day for you, you're here, for example, and all of these supplies are here, different textures for different purposes. When Jonathan looks at this, where does his mind go? And what is the results of his mind going with all of these supplies?
I enjoy this a lot because there's challenges in every one of these things,
Right.
right? It's all about the material and the technology that's in each one and how that solves the problem.
Right.
What we're doing, what we're building in the Bahamas. This, even though it just looks like a piece of melamine that you might build some cabinets out of.
Melamine.
The core is water resistant.
Right. Okay.
So this is not the same as just buying a cabinet from IKEA.
Right.
That wouldn't survive in the Bahamas, right? It's going to get wet and expand, and everybody's familiar with the problems,
Yes.
and with MDF. But with the new technology, we're buying specific cores that work here in the Bahamas. So this can sit in water and nothing happens to it. So I enjoy a lot of those technical things that
Right.
make a product very, very good and high quality, something that's going to last. That that's what kind of makes it fun for me.
And that's interesting because, as you said, there are so many elements to think of that are out of our control. Actually, having material that you're working with that is durable, whether it gets wet in the rain or it's a lot of sun, a lot of salt. That's very interesting that you pull supplies, being mindful of the environment that we're in. That's really, really good. So, what's new for Solano?
We've got a lot of new projects, a lot, and a lot of variety.
Hmm.
They span across like luxury high-end residential, where we're doing some very unique custom pieces, some cabinetry and unique exterior doors. Then they go into office cabinetry, um, all the way through uh, hotels and larger resorts. So there's a lot of variety, and that's kind of what's exciting and fun and, on other islands, so there's lots going on.
That's good. How do you maintain balance in the middle of all of that with all of this stuff? I keep touching these styles. How do you maintain the balance? And how does it play out in the world of construction with all these exciting projects, new activities every day, new materials that you're dealing with, the clients, whether it's a flagship project or a residential project? How do you maintain the balance with it all?
Having a good team.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it. I can't do all this, right? So it's having a good team. That's probably the thing I work on the most,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, it is
Is
actually.
building the team, and once we can, build a great team, then we have the people that can execute and do all this kind of stuff. So I love being involved in the teaching of what I know from the trade and building a great team. That's really it.
So we have all these supplies, samples that you have in the front here, and you have various clients. We've spoken about it at different tiers of construction. How do you, when you meet with these clients, how do you speak with them? How do you get first from them what they want, and then how does Zoana meet them in terms of recommendations for this job? What supplies work? What supplies don't work? Can you tell us about
Sure.
that?
Uh, Sales is all about solving the customer's problems.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I like it
Yes.
so much, but it's just solving problems. And these materials are all solving problems. They're all very unique. They're all engineered differently. Sometimes they're custom made, but all of that is about finding the best fit and finish to solve the problem and to execute. So I think, when we have a customer that, wants something very specific, whether it's a color or material, something like that, we run in a lot of situations where maybe what the customer wants doesn't necessarily work with the Bahamas, is not the best idea.
Right.
And that's probably one of the things I'm good at, knowing so much about the technology and having lived in the Bahamas for so long,
Right.
experience so much. Um, we're able to just educate them a little bit and help
Good.
them, let them understand um, that maybe this product is going to be better for their situation. It's going to solve their problem better. And I think, when we can explain all of that, then generally the clients understand, and we can move to the correct type of product that's going to be best for them. And so it's all about solving the customer's problem.
Do you find that a lot of your clients or prospects, they come knowing exactly what they want, or do they need you to help them along?
Uh, Most come knowing exactly what they want, because a lot of the projects we work on have architects and interior designers and engineers, and so we're getting sets of drawings with tremendous amount of detail. And I often have to talk them out of it.
Right.
So that can sometimes be a little bit difficult, but they're they're specifying either the look that they want, or they might be specifying specific material for a specific reason. And if it doesn't work in the Bahamas and in our environment, then we have to switch. Or maybe it's even something that we can't get,
Right.
not appropriate for here. So it can be a little bit challenging, but I think when you can explain it and you understand all of the engineering and the detail behind all of this stuff, it's not that hard for me.
I know. I know. I know that firsthand. That's pretty good. I just want to ask again in terms of the clients, when you encounter clients that don't really understand the importance of the material and the need to ensure that it works well in the environment, of course, in the Bahamas, if there is a breakdown there, how do you troubleshoot that and make it work and make them smile at the end of it and accept what you propose?
We've had some challenges. I've had some specific ones uh, to do with, kitchens and wanting a kitchen painted a specific color, but then later in the afternoon when the light changes, the kitchen's slightly different color.
Right.
I've had that in a stairwell as well, where the customer doesn't necessarily believe we painted it the right color,
Right.
but the lighting in the building
Of
changes.
course.
So it depends on which time of day. So, there's been challenges like that, where it seems like there is no resolution when the look changes, or it's based on the person's point of view. That can be quite hard.
Yes.
Um, I would say most of the time it comes down to the technical facts
Okay.
of the actual product and what it is. And um, when you look very, very closely at the type of paint, or
Right.
example might be a kitchen yellowing. You probably heard of that. Somebody got a white kitchen, and then after a
Yes.
while it starts to look
Look
yellow,
yellow.
right?
Yeah.
Um, the customer's probably correct. And our older products, that used to happen a lot. A lot of the white lacquers would yellow over time.
Ah.
Even when they're not in direct UV light, they still started to yellow. But the products have changed over the years. They've gotten much, much better.
Better.
But even today, you can still select the wrong thing and make a
Of
mistake.
course.
So
Of course.
you have to choose the right products, and you have to understand the engineering behind them, the physics, everything about the product to know that it's the right one. Um, and if you made a mistake, you have to fix it and, use the correct one for the
Yeah.
correct environment.
That's good. It's good. So I'm sure at the end of the day, though, if they encounter Jonathan like I encounter Jonathan every day, I'm sure it works out. I'm sure.
Yeah, we work very hard to make sure that
Yes.
we've solved the
For
problem
sure.
and it looks great and we've executed, and the customer's happy and we can keep working with them for a long time.
Good. Well, I'll tell you a takeaway that I have, especially from this table, that construction is not just cement, nails, a hammer, and tools, but you actually do some upholstery in it. Of course, you do tiling. There's a lot of different textures, modernization. So it sounds really, really interesting and exciting, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Excellent.